We have the Whatever podcast today where we have a feminist debate panel get triggered by Andrew Tate clip during the Whatever podcast. Obviously, Brian Atlas at it again. Let's just check in with this and I'll break it down for you guys at home.
That's your big passion is traveling. One of your passions is traveling. And you, I think, did a TikTok where you were pointing out how some men have an issue with it or they judge you based on your traveling. Is that correct?
I did.
I think, yeah, I saw some TikTok where you did where, I don't know, they were judging you for all the traveling you've done or something like that.
I mean, that has happened, so sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a clip here from, we haven't played a clip from him in a while, from Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate, he has an opinion on the woman traveling thing. Who else here travels though? Any travelers? Show of hands. Almost every single one of you. Oh my God, travel. All right. You guys are going to be very upset when I play this. Go ahead, pull it up. Pull it up. All right, go ahead. Pause. Tiffany, I need you to move the cursor, so it's like off. But go ahead, play it. Okay. Reaction. What's your reaction there?
If I waited for a man to take me around the world, I'd be waiting a long time. And there's a lot of places personally that I want to travel to while I'm young because of like my physical abilities. And that if I waited, let's say I didn't find my husband until like 30, 35 or whatever, I would, and I do want kids, I would kind of have to start thinking about that rather than traveling. So for me, I'm traveling right now because when I do find my partner, I want to start having kids. So.
Okay. All right. And have you been to Dubai?
I have not.
Okay. Any thoughts?
Dubai. So I personally have traveled a lot on my own dime and on ex's dimes. And I do not bring it up in conversations with men because I know that that is a thing than what we just heard. It's not that I don't lied about it. I just, if they like bring it up, I'm like, yeah, I've been to a few places.
I think it screams extreme insecurities.
And it would be, I do also think that though.
For me.
I used to live in Australia for a couple of years, and so I got.
Thank you for your input. Tattoos all over your neck, girl. I'm really looking forward to what scholarly statements you have to add to this whole conversation.
I had to explore Europe when I was younger, so my traveling comes from my family.
Yeah.
I solo go to Maui 2 or 3 times a year, and so that revolves around no man doing anything.
Yeah.
I just vibe by myself.
That's some
I
insecurity.
think it's just very hard to like keep a man if you travel all the time. Like I traveled since I was like 8 years old, like 3 months out of the year, and just almost impossible to keep like monogamous relationship in this kind of aspect. But also like I don't expect, to be honest, for a man to take me nowhere when I get married. I just want to have kids and sit in the house. I don't really expect him to take me nowhere, to be honest. That's why I also traveled so much, but also a cultural thing. You have certain countries when people are being raised, like in Israel, when after the women do 2 years, I think, men do 3 years of military duty, it's a part of their culture that for a year they travel after that.
I just also think that that's like so crazy for this man to say that he immediately is thinking that like a man has paid for everything for you in your life. Like we don't work. Like we don't have our own money to like take us to the places.
That girl right there in the middle with like the orange top just said that I traveled the world on my ex's dime. Like this girl, is she not paying attention or what's going on here?
That we want to go because I've been to 14 or 15 different countries.
But
and
men gave you that money.
Indirectly. Indirectly.
I feel like I can understand like his viewpoint of like, oh, like I want you to like, you know, be special to me and everything. But also I feel like a woman with too much inexperience is all it like we're in the 21st century. Like I also want to like, you know, add on to your thing because like, yeah, why do you think that, you know, my whole like, you know, travel thing is based off of a man? But also like if I like
Listen, I'll just stop the bull crap right now, okay? Look, if a chick likes traveling to a lot of different places and she's not like innocently going with like her mom or family members, and let's say go clearly a family trip. Why are we pretending games? Like, we all know what you're up to. You're out there to get dicked down by some, foreign Chad and do your dirty work abroad because that's what you want to do. It's the girls who travel do. Good girls, they don't want to go travel and do all this hoe shit. And like, guys are instinctively repulsed by this because it's low quality behavior, but they want to try to flip it on guys and say, oh, it's because guys are insecure. But no, that's where having frame and holding on to it is really important as a man, because you're going to know what you're okay with in your life and not okay with. So it's up to you to enforce it. So even if a group of people like this are pointing fingers and making, fun of you, you still have to stick up for yourself and do the right thing. Because otherwise, then you betray yourself. Then you're never going to have any success in dating.
To travel, right? I want to I'm probably going to be more like drawn to somebody who's also traveled, like like we're afterwards, so we could have some things to talk about and everything. Like
she's talking from a woman's perspective, because women like experienced men, but men do not like experienced women. So that's where the flaw of feminism is ruining them here.
I feel like he was putting it in like a masculinity form, be like, I want to provide for you, but he should be putting it in more of like I think he should be putting it more of like I could actually have like more experiences with her. Like, I feel like, it would be more of like, he should take it as more of like like she's been here, she's been here, right? Like, I feel like I would have more in common with her because we've been to the same places, we like the same things, all that stuff. It doesn't have to be like, so aggressive, like, oh, like this man took me here, this man took me here. Like,
and I feel like he's just being so hypocritical and living by a double standard, because like, what if a woman wanted something like that? Like, I want you to be special to me, like, or just flip the roles on him, because I'm assuming that this man has probably dated plenty of women, has crazy experience in doing all of these things, and like, I don't know, I just feel like that's super hypocritical of him to say that.
Anytime you hear a girl say, oh, that's hypocritical, that's a woman who is typically single, because she doesn't know that men have roles and women have roles, and you have to do your roles in order to have the mating dance to be successful. Women can't be acting like men. Men cannot be acting like women. Men have to be men. Women have to be women. You get together, know your role, shut your mouth, and have a good life. But everybody wants to be, this special snowflake that none of the rules apply to them, both men and women nowadays. And that's why we have relationship hell in America. So if you want to fix this, you have to do the opposite. So listen up.
Then hold on, to answer your thing. Men and women are attracted to different things. There's not perfect symmetry between the things that men and women want. So I don't think it's hypocritical necessarily. And I do think you'd actually see a difference. Like, women typically look, in general, on average, women are going to prefer experience in a man. Men are not looking for experience in a woman.
Okay.
Why are we focused on what men are looking for?
What's that?
Why are we focused on what men are looking for? It's like we're generalizing this thought process that the woman has to be innocent or a man is paying for this, when I wouldn't want to date someone that thinks that way regardless. Yeah, I wouldn't want a man that thinks that way. I would want a man.
But you
I only care about
someone you're dating.
I only care about someone's opinion if I actually
if they agree with you. You only care about their opinion if they agree with you?
No, I don't.
Well, I mean, like, this idea, are women, let me frame it like this, are men allowed to want anything?
They are. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if a man wants something and I'm not what he wants, then why am I thinking or even, deliberating about what this man that doesn't want me wants? It doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't I want to focus on the men that want me?
Well, but there's calls to action that both men and women put out there. Women say, we want men like this. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. XYZ, men should do this, men should do that. And I think to a pretty strong degree, men actually attempt to meet or do meet or at least understand women's preferences. But there's a lot of pushback when it comes to what men want. It's very like from your perspective, y'all have laundry lists of things that men should do, men should be. But the moment we say, the moment we say women should be, women should do, ooh, insecure, controlling.
I agree. You're saying it's unfair. I agree. Men are allowed to have their preference. If you go into a bar and you see so many different types of people, you're going to choose the one that's your preference. And that's up to someone's own judgment and their own. So men are allowed to say, like, I want this and I want this and I want this. But if he doesn't want something that I would say is conducive to a successful relationship with me, then I wouldn't want to be with him because it just wouldn't be good for either of us.
Well, I suppose where I disagree with Tate is there's sort of in what he was saying, he was suggesting, at least hinting at, that women should lie. Like, don't, like, ignorance is bliss. Don't tell me if you've done the thing. Me personally, I would prefer she actually tell me so I don't date her. He seems to want to, perhaps I'm misreading it, but he seems to want the woman to create like a fantasy. He wants to live in ignorant bliss, because if the woman does reveal some of these things that he dislikes, that would be an issue. But I'd actually rather her tell me. That way I could be like, nah, I just don't want to date you.
I personally just think that he just doesn't want you to be boastful, and that's kind of how I feel that it should be. Like, I don't think that either.
No, it's not about being boastful at all, at all, at all. When we hear you've done all these things that are expensive outside of your affordability as a chick, you know, in their 20s here, as some of them are, she looks like she's like early 30s, but you know, going business class and flying to all these places. Look, the majority of girls that you see that are flexing this, especially if they're young, there is some dude behind the scenes swiping that card for them. And men look at that and associate it with sex, right? So they're thinking, okay, you've been in all these places. You've probably been in all these places with a lot of these guys. And feminists always love to argue, no, that's not the case. That's not the case. But that actually 100% is the case the majority of the times. But, you know, the feminist movement is trying to keep a good front facing, you know, like propaganda machine, but obviously it's failed. And the girls here, this is like, you know, kind of covert feminism 101, where you can see they're just defending these one-sided talking points and getting offended when they realize it's completely unfair. But that's what feminism does, makes you look dumb. Let's go back to this.
Person should be boastful right away.
It wasn't about boastful.
Yeah,
he thinks they're getting dicked down all over the world.
True.
No, I definitely think that he thinks that for sure. What he was saying in the
Agree
video.
With what he said?
Do I agree with what?
That would bother you to have a girl talking about her travel experience? That would make her undateable?
So. No, I think he's taking a pretty hard line stance there. However, is there like a kernel of truth to what he's saying where it's like, okay, a woman who travels a lot, and hey, I could be wrong. And can I infer a little bit from that? You know, I think, yes, I think typically.
And for what? Because what I took away from the video was like, he was thinking that when she travels a lot, she's getting paid for by men.
Oh, well, okay, there's two components. It was like, it was a man doing it, or when she was traveling, she was fucking while she was traveling. Now, look, not all women who travel, they're not like fucking a new guy when they're in, they're in Bucharest one day, they're in Stockholm one day, they're in Copenhagen one day, they're in Paris, you know, whatever. They're not having sex necessarily in all these locations. However, there is like a degree of association. It's not like, okay, definitively, every time a woman goes into a new city, she's getting dicked down by some random fucking Parisian or some fucking Swedish dude. No. However, there is a little kernel of truth there where it's like, when women are traveling, and especially if they're traveling alone, the inhibitions are a little different.
They know what they're doing, and if they try to tell you anything other than that, they're lying.